We will now look at how you can add references into your EndNote library. The two ways we are going to have a look at today are direct export, which is where you send reference information from a search tool such as a database into your library, and also manual entry. So we'll first go out to the University of Queensland Libraries search. And do a quick search to get a list of references. Now, when exporting references to EndNote, most search tools do it slightly differently. However, there are two common ways that they use to run an export. One way is either clicking on an icon to select the ones you wish to send on the right-hand side, going to that list and then sending from there. The alternative way is using a checkbox and then choosing an export option. We're going to look at both today. With the library search, you are also able to send things one by one, or you can send multiple references simultaneously. To send a single reference, you just need to select the export option for that particular reference. In the library search, it is these three dots. The other thing to note is different web browsers will treat the export in slightly different ways. We recommend Chrome or Firefox when exporting to EndNote. For those of you using a Mac, Safari doesn't work as well. The other thing when using a Mac is you do need to configure your Mac to send the information to EndNote. Instructions on how you can do this is available on our EndNote page under the Using EndNote option. You can access this page through the Research Tools and Techniques menu. Once we have gone into our export options like we have done here, you can see there's actually a EndNote web option. This isn't the one we want to use here. This is referring to EndNote Online, which is a cloud-based version of EndNote, but it does have less functionality than the desktop, so we do recommend the desktop instead. So the option we want for the desktop version is this Export RIS, and RIS is just referring to a type of file that EndNote recognises. Once we click here, we've got our download option. Now I'm running in Chrome at the moment, and Chrome will either send it directly to your library as it has done here, and when I now highlight my reference, I can see the full details over on the right. We can also see that a temporary group has appeared, and temporary groups will appear and disappear based on the functions that you are currently undertaking. The imported references gives you the opportunity to check the references that have come in, and then the next time we do an export, this will change. Your references are also added to the All References group, and all your references are always listed in here until you actually delete them when they can be moved to trash. It is always advisable to double check your references when adding them, because databases can get the information incorrect, or sometimes the information may not come across correctly and be added to the right fields. You can also check this. If we go onto the right-hand side, we're currently looking at the summary. You can also go to the edit option to see the full details. And these are also available on your Mac. We will now go back and we will have a look at how to send multiple references. This is where you can use the icon to select the ones you're interested in. The icon here is a pin, and essentially will then change the icon to indicate the ones you selected. And these are all added to a shortlist or a favourites list. You can then access that list through the pin icon at the top of the screen. Other common versions of this use a file icon and have a folder at the top of the screen. Sometimes it may be elsewhere, but generally it's at the top of your screen. Once we go into our favourites area, this is where we can export our references. And this can be done by either selecting everything in our list or selecting individual ones. Once we do that, the export options, which you can see at the top of the screen, once again, the 3 horizontal dots have now become active. And then we follow the same steps as we did for sending a single one. Chrome can also, instead of sending it directly like we have done here, send it to a download button at the bottom of your screen. You then just need to click on that to access it to send to EndNote itself. And if we now have a look in our imported references, we now have 4, the 4 we've just chosen to send, but our all references is showing 5 to include that original one we sent.